Taiwan says it's ready to defend itself full on against any potential China conflict, but it says it won't be seeking any conflict. Joining me now is a Liberal Senator and also Chair of the Powerful Intelligence and Security Committee, James Paterson, and Labor Senator Kimberley Kitching. Thanks both for your time. I'll begin with you on this, James. The risk of conflict's clearly rising. What do you see as Australia's role from here?
It's very important that Australia makes very clear our long-standing position, which is any resolution of cross-straits tensions should be done in a peaceful way, and that at the heart of any resolution must be the self-determination of the Taiwanese people. They're 23 million proud Liberal Democrats who have a thriving democracy, and they must have a say in their own future, and it should not be forced with any kinetic means, frankly.
Kimberley, in terms of Taiwan and their position from here, what's your view around what needs to happen from the US point of view? Because they're obviously more important in Australia. Should they set some form of red line that China shouldn't go past? Because otherwise we'll just see, call them what you want, flyovers, sail-bys and so on, ratchet up until the pressure's too much.
Look, I think the US obviously is important, and obviously their relationship with the Chinese Communist Party is important. But I would say Australia's position and all of our neighbours in the Indo-Pacific, their views are important too. And I agree with James, I don't think anyone wants to see any form of kinetic activity. And in fact, in cross-strait relations, we would advocate for the peaceful resolution of any disagreements. With people are doing, the US and Canada, and the UK more recently has done freedom of operation exercises in the region. And obviously this is really important for not only for Australia, but many countries, because we want, trade to continue and those shipping lanes to be safe and those shipping lanes to be open.
We even had China condemn some of the US sail-bys. I'm sure you'll correct my terminology there, but in the Taiwan Strait. What did you make of this?
Well, these are international waters, Tom, so any nation is free to transit through those international waters, and from time to time Australia has done so. And
Taiwan certainly wouldn't mind, I'm tipping.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'd welcome that, because it's a demonstration that these are international waters, that they should be navigable by all nations, and Australia joins with France and Germany and the United Kingdom and the United States, India, Japan, many others who transit through these waters, which does make an important point that they are open seas, that they're governed by international law and agreements, and that any one nation can't assert themselves and dominate international waters as if they are their own.
That's the hope. Kimberley, do you see, what's the action you would see from China that would have you worried that this is not going to de-escalate at any point?
Look, I think the flyovers into Taiwanese airspace, the ADIs, or let's take it practically from the median line in the Straits. I mean, I think that's concerning. There were over 150 flights from Chinese combat aircraft in 4 days from about the 1st of this month. I mean, that's concerning, and we would say to the CCP, of course, that this isn't acceptable to do this. But, I feel for the Taiwanese people. I've been to Taiwan, actually on a delegation where Anthony Albanese was the delegation leader. It's a democracy. As James says, it is a vibrant democracy. And,
Right.
They're 23, 24 million people. We're just a little bit over in our population. And obviously we've had very stable trading relations with Taiwan as well. And they've been a good neighbour. In fact, Taiwan donated to the state of Victoria 500,000 pieces of PPE at a time when, remember, state actors were taking PPE offshore back to China, but Taiwan donated 500,000 pieces of PPE. I think they've been a great neighbour.
Okay, I just want to get one more topic. Net zero, we've just had your colleague Jason Polinsky say that in his view, net zero should be a view of the joint coalition party room. The Prime Minister should canvass opinions and then take what he believes is the consensus view to Cabinet. Do you agree with that? A joint coalition decision rather than the Nats having a veto right?
Well, all government policy is jointly made by all parliamentarians from the Liberal Party and the National Party. In this case, because it's not a legislative instrument, it doesn't need a formal approval of the party room. It's ultimately a position that the Cabinet will decide to adopt or not adopt, and that Cabinet is made up of National Liberal Party members and with the Prime Minister as the chair. We're methodically working through these issues.
So entirely up to Cabinet, in your view,
Well, I mean,
with a canvassing of opinion.
I mean, the Cabinet is always, the Prime Minister is always very mindful of views in the party room, but we will not be asked to vote on anything as backbenchers, and nor should we be.
Through that sense, then the Nats don't have this veto right. They can't just scuttle things of their own volition.
Well, they're obviously an important part of the coalition, but they have a proportional part of the coalition as well, and don't dictate and shouldn't dictate policy against the rest of the government.
Kimberley, just in 30 seconds, are you hoping something gets through here, or are you barracking for dysfunction?
No, I think that Australia needs this. I think the Labor caucus has been onto this for years and years and years. So, I mean, it's good that the government is doing that. I think the Nats will use their sort of increased bargaining position at this point in time to try to extract more promises, extract more money. Of course, we're seeing, the debt train of debt. Go out of control, really, I think. But the Nats are going to negotiate for that, I think.
Yeah. We'll see. Kimberley James, good to finally talk to the two of you, one of you in person. I'm sure you'll be back here soon enough. Kimberley, thank you.